Now, today, the Office for National Statistics revising its third quarter GDP growth figures. The ONS originally stating the UK economy shrank at 0.2% between July to September. However, now it's even worse than we thought. It actually shrank by 0.3%. But if it goes again down in the next quarter, of course, that is the technical definition of a recession. Well, joining us now to discuss these figures, Director of Res Publica, Phillip Blond. Phillip, thanks for your time. It's down just a bit more, but yet more evidence that this shallow and protracted recession that people are talking about is on its way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's here. But what's really worrying is the trend that we're seeing, which really goes back to the financial crisis. Britain has never reinvented itself from the time of the great financial crash back in the day. We have a productivity crash that has never recovered. We've flatlined since then, and we've had a series of kind of growth disasters that have compounded kind of that original problem. I mean, whether one supports Brexit or not, I don't think you can fly in the face of kind of the current evidence. I mean, most opinion now coalesces that Britain suffered a 5% fall in GDP relative to what it would have been if we hadn't Brexited. We had the COVID lockdowns that have proved really, really damaging, especially for the health service. And it seems like part of our problem is too many people are ill, and that's why we're not pulling them back into the economy. Yeah. But yeah, this is the way to see this is that we haven't changed our economic model since the financial crisis, since 2009, and it's all bad news since then, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor, seems to yet again be blaming Putin and the invasion for Ukraine for economic difficulties. However, there are economists, Pantheon Macroeconomics, the latest body to suggest, national accounts suggest the UK the only G7 economy in which third quarter GDP was still below its pre-COVID levels. There's clearly something going wrong within Britain as opposed to these other advanced economies.
Yeah, I think that's true. And whilst, the inflation problem. So if you're the government, what is your growth strategy? There are no specific growth kind of options since they abandoned Liz Truss's growth zones, which I didn't think were a bad idea at all, actually. They think that their primary task is to fight inflation. And that, in effect, is their de facto growth policy. But it doesn't appear to be working, and not least because many of the factors that determine inflation are external to the UK. So we have no domestic response to our immediate contraction other than austerity and, raising taxes in the face of a recession, which seems perverse, quite frankly. Yeah. So I think that where we have to view this is, yes, in a history of contraction that goes back sort of over 12 years now, this is but the latest. But the real issue is why did we collapse after the financial crash? Why did we not change our model? Why do we remain fixated on kind of high immigration, low wages, financialisation? We haven't renewed our industrial base, and the evidence now is that the countries that do that, manufacturing is much more distributive, i.e. it gives much more wealth to many more people and has much more add-ons for the country than the narrow focus on tech would suggest. So we're out of ideas, I would say, and we don't have a long enough view as to where the problems lie.
Right. Sounds as if you're suggesting we may have to have a new government.